Juggling kids and business. If it's not hard enough to run a household, then you've got to try and run a business and then mold those two things together. Now, somebody sitting across from me has a lot of experience with managing kids in a business because he has to parent me.
There it is. I wondered where it was going because I was thinking, man, we were reflecting in the office about, one pod that we've never, or topic rather, that we've never really talked about was when you're in business and just the dynamic that having kids or thinking about having kids brings to the equation. Because recently I was talking with a particular client about or a potential client about their circumstances, and they were about to have a child. I can't recall whether it was the first or second or whatever it was, and just how that life-changing decision influenced their decision about what they would or wouldn't do in business. And I thought, man, this is a really humdinger of a topic. Neither one of us are truly qualified to speak about it, I don't believe. Our partners are here. My wife isn't here. If she was, I'd be absolutely screwed. So we asked the audience, we got some participation. And my word, there has been an absolute flood of comments and feedback. So it certainly is a popular topic.
Yeah, there's plenty to unpack in this one. And we're going to go through some people's thoughts. And I guess we talk to all sorts of different business owners at different stages and different stages of their life as well. But I think from what I've observed, like, I don't have children, so some people will say, oh, you know, it's easy for you because you aren't trying to juggle those and whatnot. And so I get that.
But if Taz was here, she'd probably say you still are a child.
100%. Yeah, juggling myself. But I've seen clients who have one child, and they'll say that's enough. And then I've seen clients who have three and say, I did a podcast this week with a person who has 3 kids, and like we just involve the three kids in all of the things that we do so that they're learning about business and whatnot. And so from what I've picked up on the outside looking in at all these clients is there's no right or wrong answer, and there's no like perfect or nirvana. And one thing I often see with new mums who message me via Keep the Change is this frustration of...
Are there a few of them, are there?
Every now and then.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Of like, I can't do this because I've got a child and you don't understand. I'm like, okay, like, sweet, I don't understand.
Sort your male privilege out.
Yes. But then other women in the exact same position will be like, oh, that's strange, I'm still doing it, like, tell her to do this. And they've way less emotional or triggered, and I think you two need to talk to because I can't be there.
Yeah, and at this point the comments blow up on our podcast because people are being triggered.
Yeah, so I normally get that person to then I write
interact
a screenshot
with the other person.
Yeah. But anyway, the point being that there's no right or wrong answer is from my massive analysis of this, and everybody's trying their best and doing things differently.
I guess from this and the feedback that we've been given, we will put into a book format, and it'll become a coffee table book that'll sit at Luke's place when he's ready.
Yeah.
And can refer to it as a reference book and say, hey, Taz, what I'm most surprised about, well, I'm not, but tongue-in-cheek, if people don't already know me by now, I shouldn't have to say it's tongue-in-cheek, but no one's actually come on and actually said, like, don't do it.
They haven't, have they?
No. And one of the real common themes that I've picked up from all of the messages that have come through is just it's a real underlying sense of their why they got into business or self-employment was to get out of the monotony of the 9 to 5, being the slave to the corporate person and feeling like you've got to be at work at 8, 9, whatever it is, climb the corporate ladder to get the big paycheck, to be part of the C-suite eventually, hate your life, and you go, nah, I'll go into business, and you get that flexibility. And I believe genuinely 100% you do, but from what people are suggesting here, it's then how do you control and protect those boundaries so that you can enjoy the flexibility that it brings, and with that flexibility, as all these people are saying here, how you then spend your time with your kids, going to the school prize giving, going to the sports event, going on the school camp, doing whatever it is. It does give you that freedom if you want to use it.
I think that with all things life-wise, we end up doing the things that we prioritise, right? And a lot of the times with business owners, they aren't putting boundaries in place to then be able to do the things that they once thought they would be able to do. very quick story, client recently, right, we want to grow this thing really big so that we can go on an overseas holiday. I'm like, why don't you just go on the holiday now?
Yeah.
You know, but because we're not prioritising it, we think we've got to do all this other stuff, or clients would come to us and say, I'd love to have, you know, make enough money so that we could go on a family holiday, and we'll map it all out and go, well, you're kind of already there. Like, why don't we book it? But then a quarter later we'll check in, they haven't booked it. Quarter later they haven't booked it.
Yep.
And we're delaying this stuff. And often it's the things that we actually got into business for that dragged us into it or encouraged us into it. But then when you open the front door of business, you realise, whoa, it is just never ending. And unless you set those boundaries, you can very quickly not do the things that you were hoping to once do.
And I think that's the key theme. I think one of the key things that's come out for me of reading the comments is, you know, in the corporate world, people talk about, oh, you know, we've got to have work-life balance. And there's just so many people that are just like, that doesn't exist, blah, 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 blah. There's all these arguments. But I think when you've got your own business or self-employed or whatever you want to call it, it's work-life boundaries.
Yep.
How do you create the boundaries between protecting your life time and boundaries so that you can go, right, I can disengage from work completely so I can be completely engaged on the life side of the equation, but work is continuing because at the end of the day, work for a self-employed person or somebody that's in business, work is life. So how do we integrate that and wrap boundaries around the work equation so that we can enjoy life?
And I think a lot of business owners really like what they're doing as well.
Yeah.
So then it is even harder to pull yourself away. Like, no shade on the employees, but it's pretty easy to do a 9 to 5 and then go, great, I don't want to and need to think about that again until 9 a.m. tomorrow or after the first smoko, second meeting or whatever. And so you can become a different version of yourself in those departments or compartments of time. But when you're a business owner, you know, it's hard to switch off. You are enjoying it. You might get a lead, you open the inbox, you see it there, and you're like, oh, we'll reply at 8:30 at night or whatever. And again, it comes back to that boundary piece. But I think business owners don't complain as much about that when they're enjoying doing it.
And that's the bit. And the fascinating thing that come out there is the P didn't come up. Permission. Like, everyone seems like they've got different strategies or tactics in place that it works for them, and they've subconsciously given themselves permission that they can go, okay, yep, little Johnny's got this on, I will go and do this. And then they will make it a priority, and then they know that, yes, this stuff is important in life and work will always be there. And I thought that's actually quite good, because one of the things that we see with a lot of business owners is struggling to give themselves permission to make a decision on something. It's just like, oh, I want to do this, but I don't know. Like, do I deserve it? Should I do it? There's just so much, it's like self-doubt, and it's just like, is that what's required of me? Is that what's expected of a business owner? And it's just like, you're the business owner, just give yourself permission, go and do it.
Yeah, I think in business as well, because you're in control of your future and it's never really finished and it's never, you know, it could be bigger than you're currently doing, it can be better. It's very easy to get caught in the trap that you can't say no to things. And had a client recently and they've optimized their business, and then they could take that free time, they could basically like send it deeper into what they're doing, and they're like, I've decided, no, I don't need to. I'd rather actually refine myself as a father and start doing more with the kids and whatnot. And actually that's more important than doing some of the things in the business that may lead to opportunities for the future or financial gain. That's not important to me now. And I think it's becoming more common now to talk about seasons or like compartments of life. But one of these first comments in here is, kids take up so much time and it's hard to see people without kids doing so much more in their work. Now, for me, there's like a theme of comparison there, right? So why would you be comparing yourself to somebody who doesn't have kids and what they're doing in their business? So that would be, but I can see why we do it. But again, you could completely refine your business to the point where you don't want to be worrying about that anyway. You just want to be figuring out, am I doing what I need to do? And amazingly, they go on to say, but that can bring focus, and that's a good thing. So I try to always ensure I'm working on the right things and eliminate all the wrong things. Audit your time, 80-20 of what actions are bringing results, and see the lack of time as a good thing for building a stronger business. And so many people have said to me, oh, wait till you have kids, you'll become even more efficient.
Yeah, wow. What jumped into my mind before jumping back into the comments was the amount of businesses that are born out of the mum-preneur economy of just like, And we've got a few, or we've had exposure to some businesses that have been down there where they'll come up with an idea and they might go to the local farmers market, or they'll start up a website and start and flog some product along, just born out of having kids sitting at home. They've got some skills, they're bored, not necessarily got nothing to do, but you just want to fulfill and get some enjoyment. You create a business. The next minute, boof, the product's on the shelves at a supermarket, or it's being sold online, or it's being sold into Australia. A whole heap of different things. So it can be quite a cool space.
Yeah, I think like speaking on behalf of mothers here, but in that space, what I've noticed, like some of them can't and some of them can. And some of them want to and some of them don't want to. And the can't and the don't want to have convinced themselves that they can't and that they don't want to. And then those people that can and do want to, I don't think they like keeping an eye on each other, because I think it's
great observation again from your white male privilege. Speaking on behalf of all the mums out there, you're a brave man.
And seeing some of them that can and do, they say, well, I did get bored, or I wanted something else to do, and they chip away, and
but this just comes back to that mindset thing, right, though, in terms of, are you an above the line or a below the line person? And I think the two sides of the fence that you're talking about there, the ones that can't, are just the below the line, and they can't see it and probably don't want to see it, and will be quite happy to just use everything as an excuse. Whereas if you flip the script a little bit and go, well, okay, how can I turn the can't into a can, and then make stuff happen, you can move the excuses out of the way and get ahead.
Now, before we offend anyone else, just remember, ladies and gentlemen, that we have clients that have 2 kids, 3 kids, 4 kids, and achieving things that you would think not even possible with the number of kids that they have. So we get to see it all. We're constantly inspired by business owners and the situation that they're in, and their mindset and their attitude. Yeah,
and look, in case people that are reasonably new to this, I do have 3 kids, so I am somewhat qualified. And the oldest is late teens.
I'm 37, mate. You've got 4. You always
that's good. And if memory serves me correct, I've won Father of the Year every year consecutively since becoming a father. So say the Father's Day cards.
Well done.
So I mean, I'm overqualified.
Yeah, they can throw shit at me because I'm talking shit, whereas you are actually lived experience.
Lived experience, but speaking from personal experience, and I know if Grace was sitting next to me, she would probably be coughing and spluttering and choking at this very point, waiting to interject and just absolutely go, you're so full of shit. Because you never do this, you never do that, da-da-da-da-da. And it's constantly finding that boundary piece about when you are present and then when you're not present, and then when you aren't present but should be present, reminding of the outcomes that are then being delivered, that creates the overall picture of where we're going or where we are and where we're going.
Yeah, mate, I'll stick up for you. I mean,
I know you will, 100%.
You're bringing a lot to the household, mate, and I'm sure Grace is very grateful.
Oh, she is. Yeah. No, I mean, we've got it, and that's the thing. And I'm made a little note here in terms of, in a relationship with his parents, you played it like much in business, and we don't have kids between us, and we're not married, but to our strengths and weaknesses. Yeah. I mean, we're very clear on what our strengths are individually, and we leverage off of them.
100%.
You do the shit that you're good at, I do the shit that I'm good at, and it just works.
Yeah.
And I think in a household, and particularly where you've got one person that's in business and the other one's an employee, that's where it can be a challenge.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have, somebody's going to be in business and going to have some strengths. The one that's the employee is going to have a different set of strengths. And I think the main thing, and it probably comes back, and I'm certainly no expert at giving relationship advice here. Maybe parental advice to a point, but relationship advice, God no. And I know Grace would absolutely slam me into next week for saying this. But just comms, communication, just talk about it. And it can be hard. And I can hear her now going, fuck, you're full of shit. But it's easier said than done. You just got to talk about it. And I know when you're in business and you've got somebody that, as a partner, is an employee, doesn't necessarily understand all the ins and outs, it can be a challenge. And then that can then play into the kid dynamic in terms of going, right, let's get the flexibility. I can't get the flexibility. Got this deadline. We're trying to get stuff achieved, da-da-da-da-da. But at the end of the day, I think it is rewarding. And all the comments, coming back to those, all lead, have that same theme of just like, somebody even said, it's fucking tough. And I think that's a very honest assessment of what life is like with kids, irrespective of the age, whether they're newborns, babies, through to toddlers, primary school, through to teenagers, and then just like wait for them to leave home and then changing the locks on the doors so that they don't come back. But incredibly challenging, but once you've got the boundaries in place, incredibly rewarding.
Yeah.
I believe.
Let's go through a couple of these comments.
Let's do it. Let's rip into it.
Next one, kids in business are tough, but one of the reasons I work for myself is to have the flexibility. In fact, one of my goals is to be able to spend school holidays with them. Amazing. What that does is create a time frame to push hard. So during term time, 10 weeks for instance, we have a big sprint and try to scale and grow as fast as we can. Then during the holidays, we take our foot off the gas and recover, create a plan for the next push. Our business is online, so we can work from anywhere, and we tag team really well when we need to work when the kids are around. I just say as well, like we have to have a bit of gratitude for the world that we now live in. You know, like imagine, I just often, as a frame of reference, go back and think, okay, if I was having a conversation with my grandfather, like imagine if I told him about the things that I do, what he would think about my life. And you know, it's easy to find things that we're frustrated about in our life or to find hard, but then forget, you know, this here. You know, our business is online, so we can work from anywhere.
Yep.
Like that was not doable once, you know.
And I remember, and I don't know why I remember this, but it's one of these things that's just dropped into my memory bank, and I recall it for periodically. And it's a post that you did many years ago, not long after we got these iPads, and you were just like taking a moment of reflecting, like how good is life, and how much have things changed that you're now writing on a device somewhere. You know, don't even need a pen and paper. I think you might have been sitting in the Corrie Lounge because you were gold elite status at that stage.
I still haven't got to that stage. It's coming.
But you're quite right, you know, in terms of where we've gotten, just how flexible it is to be able to run a business from anywhere in the world, and the tools that we've got to do it when you go and compare it to previous generations, even the boomers.
Yeah.
You know, they're probably just like, wow, you can do what?
You know, we're like, oh, one of my earpods didn't charge overnight and it's flat. For fuck's sake, Apple is so useless. It's like, how's the music even getting from the phone to that thing into my ear?
Yeah.
What is like, and how can I afford that? Wow. Anyway.
And just even before the AirPods and the transfer of the music, just the phone in and of itself. And I still remember as a younger, we're going a bit off topic here, but this might have been, did you ever see Beyond 2000, the TV show?
No.
Nah. I remember that as a younger fella, and people are probably listening to this going, fuck, he's that old? Yes, I am. And I used to watch that and having the fact that in the future there would be all of these crazy devices, you know, flying cars and that kind of shit. But the mobile phone was one of the things with cameras and shit. And to think that we're now living in that, fucking cool.
Yeah.
It really is. But the one of the things that I took away from this person's message in terms of choosing when they've got the foot down and the foot off, one of the things that I like about the flexibility is there's no set holidays per se when you're in business. Like you're always on and you can choose when you're going to be off. And one of the things I like about our business is when the rest of the country goes to sleep over summer, we can go off and enjoy summer, devices switched off. And I always think every year I don't have to be in the office back at a particular time because I'm not constrained by how much annual leave I've got.
Yeah.
I can stay at the beach, I can be at home, and the amount of times I've been on the water on the jet ski with the kids and gone, I don't need to be at work.
Yeah.
That's freaking fantastic.
And that's
really
like a big driver for you, right? Or like, you know,
Yeah.
and it's a non-financial reward. And I think it's for a lot of business owners, that's why we do it. And we have to take moments to actually do it. You know, whether it be holidays with the kids or whatever that is, but it's very easy to get lost in not doing it, or celebrating and enjoying the fact that you can do it. The next one says, as the last person mentioned, one of my main drivers to work for myself is to have flexibility for my kids to be able to work school hours when they are at school and to be able to active in their lives outside of school. Nice. One of my biggest learnings has been that I simply cannot be everything at once. Great learning to have. I can't be an engaged, present and fun mum if my head is thinking about work. I usually end up grumpy, overwhelmed and snappy, and I can't be effective in work if I'm still half in mum mode. Having really clear boundaries and rituals to support the transition between work and family are really valuable to keep myself present and my mind in the space where I need it to be at the point in time. what I love about business is it forces you to do all of this learning. Like what an amazing like awareness this person has to go, I've had to figure this shit out.
Yep.
For a lot of people, they'll go through their whole life and someone will one day say to them like, man, why are you so angry? And they'll go, I don't know, I'm not angry. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And they won't be able to go, oh shit, sorry, I'm still stuck in this mode because I'm thinking about this going on. And yeah, it's incredible.
And I think to learn that is trial and error. And I know for me, when I get home, I park the car in the garage, and then I've got to consciously make that switch to go, I've got to stop thinking about work. Because, I mean, you know what I'm like.
Yeah.
The brain just does not stop. And to consciously go, nah, it's now off. And then the laptop bag gets put away, like somewhere that's just, I don't see it. And I try and put the phone away with the laptop, and then not touch it for an hour or so, just so I'm not distracted. So I'm just like, right, I'm in the kitchen, an uncomfortable zone for somebody like me, but I'm in the space and engaging with the boss. So, how's it going? What's going on? Can I help? Make the offer, but certainly don't expect to contribute because I'm way outside of my comfort zone. And then make a point of then going around the kids, right, what are you up to? How's the day? Da 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 da. And then they're all teenagers on their devices, bugger off, dad. But then, back out, done the thing, done. And then, just engaging on the home front. But making that a conscious thing. And that's to this contributor's point, like, you've got to learn this stuff. Because it's so easy to go home and then be like, oh, there's all this great stuff happening on at work. Everything's mobile these days. I can do anything from anywhere. Boof, out comes the computer.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, another couple of hours is gone. And yeah, we're producing and we're getting shit done, but it's just like you're losing the time because you're not present.
Yeah. So again, boundaries, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They go on to say, learning that done is actually better than perfect, a tough lesson for my perfectionist personality, and being clear on my purpose and priorities. So it's easy to identify where I'm willing and able to get to let things go and when to say no and what actually needs my energy and effort. I think it's such a good business lesson in here in general. Doesn't matter if you've got kids or not, or if you've got smaller time frames or whatever, is, done is better than perfect, and being clear on my purpose and priorities. So it's easy to identify where I'm willing and able to let things go. Often business owners that we're dealing with that are doing better are saying no to more stuff and are very clear on what they need to actually do. Lastly, realizing that the rest is productive, and taking time to rest and recharge mentally and physically is absolutely critical to be able to perform across different areas of life. It's simply impossible to give 100% constantly across different aspects of life. Love that. Yeah, it's very easy to not rest as a business owner, I think, because the job is never done.
Yeah, 100%.
And you don't get those 10 sick days, the 20 annual leave days, the 13 public holidays.
and this, I think, this is a great example of, and as much as we, I don't want people to listen to this that are probably not business owners and think that we're mugging them off, because in previous pods we go on about just how much more, I don't want to say difficult, but just challenging, and the things that business owners have to think about that non-business owners don't have to worry about. Like, the 2 lots of rent that need to be paid, the office rent and the home rent. And then it's just like if you are sick, the impact of that on work and that kind of stuff. Employees have got it okay. They've got the sick days, they've got the thing, but you work your butt off so that when you are sick, you can rest, or you get to a state where you don't need to worry about taking sick days because you're looking after your health, and you can go and enjoy the annual leave. It's a fine balance. It really is.
Yeah, I'll get a bit rash here, but I think we've got to a point in life where being an employee has become so easy. I knew I'm going to get myself in trouble. That
you're going to get cancelled, eh?
Yeah, that they can't see how much different running a small business in New Zealand actually is, because we're looking at it going, wow, okay, but you're taking minimal risk but expecting massive reward. You want heaps of time off. And I could go on and on, but a small business owner is basically like, I'm going to figure it out myself. I'm not going to get all of that time off. I will have to go through a season of just absolutely smashing this. And I'm not saying employment, is easy, but they're 2 very, very different paths, and they're not really comparable. But I think that we're in this space where people are frustrated by employment and not getting enough reward, but not realizing you're not taking that much risk. So if people are doing well in business, they are taking a lot of risk, they are making a lot of sacrifice, and therefore they should get rewarded.
I'll add some more salt to this wound, mate, because recently, and I haven't shared this with you.
Here we go.
Because it makes me sad, and I had an internal reaction that I'm struggling to contain now, but I've had people say to me about businesses that are clients of ours or have been clients of ours, and they don't know that they have or are, and they've mugged them off. So it's, let's say, for example, you're selling T-shirts online.
Yeah.
And they're a client of ours, and then person X has come along that may or may not know me, and they've gone, product, I've bought T-shirts online from particular business, fucking shit quality, just crap, and I'm just like, whoa.
And it's one of our clients.
Yeah.
And then you're feeling conflicted, like, hey.
But no, I wasn't conflicted. I was just like, no, I want to defend the client because this is somebody that's taken a risk to start a business that in most cases has started out small and has potentially grown to something significantly bigger, and they've got no idea about what's going on beneath the surface where they're attacking a product and essentially, because most of the clients that we're dealing with are founder-based businesses. There's a family in behind it. It's not a corporate. So when you are attacking that business or the product that it produces, like, you're essentially attacking the founder. And I felt I had to go into defense for the clients because it's happened on a couple of occasions. And I'm just like, don't, just hold back. But it made me think of like the person, and these are people that aren't in business. So person X that's criticising T-shirt business, employee, and I'm just like, with what you're saying, it just shows how uneducated you are.
Yeah. There's a real big lack of understanding for people not in business.
Understand, that's probably a better word. Yeah, they're probably educated, this lack the understanding and awareness.
Right.
Anyway.
The next one, for us, the key has been learning that business can give you more than just money, sales, or profit. Love it. Our goals include things like family holidays, flexibility for both my husband and I to be there for our kids when they need us, and ensuring our employees also has that balance with their own family. What an amazing thing to be able to do. Build a business to be able to provide that opportunity for other staff members. It's definitely not easy, but we're trying to run a business that provides both a living and a life. Boundaries help a lot. No work chat during dinner, bath, and bedtime.
Wow.
Well done. Once the kids are in bed, we might work a night or two, but we also make sure to spend time together that isn't business or kids related. Being able to do school pickups, attend shared morning teas, and show up for things like Polyfest is more valuable to us than chasing every last dollar.
Awesome.
Your own business should serve your family's needs both financially and in lifestyle. Fuck, we should get that on the wall, mate. Your own business should serve your family's needs both financially and in lifestyle. It's something we often articulate and take a lot longer, but that's in one sentence. Your own business should serve your family's needs both financially and in lifestyle. We truly believe there's nothing better for our kids than seeing their parents working hard and building something they're passionate about. This is the bit that I think a lot of us are forgetting in business that have kids too. Imagine what they're learning and being exposed to and what that could mean for the future of New Zealand. Phenomenal.
We've got a number of friends that have got businesses and they've got kids, and there's a few that I'm thinking of, and their kids can be in the holidays actively involved in the business, and I think that's really cool for them to get in there, get on the tools and make some kind of contribution and see actually, okay, we're doing product X, this is how it starts out, this is how it ends, this is the journey, these are things, even from, just filing ship, printing stuff, sweeping floors, doing just the real dog's body type jobs. You'll pay them a nominal wage because that's what a fair parent would do. You certainly don't want to be overpaying the kids. You want to take advantage of the slave labour. But I think there's nothing better than a little bit of sweat equity or sweat learning for the kids in terms of going, gee, actually, this is what mum or dad or mum and dad have to go through to be able to provide for us in the family business. And it's a great school of learning. Unfortunately, despite me trying, None of the kids are
Your
interested
kids
in
are-
accounting.
Yeah.
Mate, it's been the school holidays, and I've said, what do you guys up to? And they're like, oh, yeah, not much. I'm like, why don't you come and hang in the office with Dad for the day? Fuck no.
We need to bring the scooter back into the office or something. Get a
Oh, mate, I don't know what needs to be done.
PlayStation maybe.
No. Well, there's work to be done.
Yeah, fair. Yeah.
Yeah, the PlayStation is the distraction. And it's not like, we've built a brilliant business that's 100% paperless. It's not like working in some punishing CA firm that's based in Parnell. Haven't mugged them off for a while.
Put this in the credenza for me, would you?
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, can you file? There's all these 127 companies' office annual returns that need to be filed. Can you do? No, none of that. So it's just like, okay, do you want to learn anything about business? But not interested in the slightest.
I wonder though, wait till the kids get old enough to have jobs, like serious jobs, when they go from learning or watching you and seeing the freedom that you have and the flexibility to then, well, I want that, and their boss goes, no, sorry, you don't. That's not how the world works. You've got to be here at work on time.
100%.
What?
And there's one child that I reckon out of the three of them that's more likely to get into business, more of a chance than the other two.
Yeah.
And when that one decides to probably get into business, finally hit up the old man, hey, can you help me? And you know what I'm going to say? Get fucked.
You're a bad man.
I'm like,
Say,
you
ring
need
Luke.
to go and learn some of these problems. I'm like, you need to go and find a really good accountant.
Yeah.
There's some great accountants out there, and there's some real terrible ones. You got to work all this stuff out. But I've given you all the opportunities to learn the stuff along the way. But no, you weren't interested. Your chickens have come home to roost, sunshine.
Love it.
Oh God, I'm savage.
All right, the next one here, I echo what somebody else has mentioned. I demarcate my work and priorities around the kids. And is that a word? I don't know that word. I'm not very...
Yeah, it is. So,
Okay.
yes, it is a word too. What does it mean? I don't know. Maybe a listener can jump on the keyboard and let us know.
And our family commitment. Sometimes I work late and dinner is late on the table, but that's just what needs to happen on the odd occasion in order for me to be able to show up for parent helping sessions or to be able to log off most days to help with homework. I also think it's good for them to see their mum working hard too. It was very good for me to see my mum putting in the work. I also keep comms up with clients so that they know as early as possible if I need to shift a meeting or when I will respond to their email if it's quite informative, intensive. That way they know I've picked it up and they know when to expect a response. Like, great. Like putting in processes around it, right?
Hey, the one thing I've just written down here, it jogged my memory, but of the half dozen or so responses that we've been through so far, no one's actually overtly feeling bad or guilty about having kids. Like, the kids actually just don't get in the way.
Yeah.
And they've structured a way of like, life happens. Dinner can be late on the table, or I'm not living up to all of these expectations, but I don't feel bad about it. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, like my mum said to me the other day, or when we were really had nothing left in the old bank account, she's like, I would raise you kids on Weet-Bix. And she's like, but look how you turned out.
Yeah,
like,
a Weet-Bix kid, look at you.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, good. That'd be why I've never played for the All Blacks. But but there's no perfect, I think is what she was trying to say. Like, kids will mould and adapt. And I think people put so much pressure on themselves to give their kids these perfect lives or whatever. But, the whole thing's probably an experiment. From the outside, again, white guy, privileged guy with no kids looking in.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt, spot on. Like, you've got all the external societal pressures of what you think is expected you should be doing as a parent, and it's just like you've got to have the right clothes for your kids, the right clothes as a mum, the right stroller, and then once you've gone through that phase, it's like the right school, the right backpacks, and it's just when they're little kids, or even as through primary school, that shit doesn't matter. Like, they grow out of that stuff so fast. And I always remember somebody saying to us in the very early stages before number one popped out, or it might have been after number one popped out, like, that kid's going to grow up not knowing or remembering the fancy pants bloody thing that spins around above the cot. It's still not going to know the blimmin' that it's the fanciest looking thing with all the decorative stuff on it, da-da-da. Like, that's for you and your belief system, not for the kid. The kid just needs blimmin' some food in its belly, some warm clothes and somewhere to sleep. It ain't going to remember anything. As long as it's provided that, you're given everything that it needs.
Sage advice, mate. But my followers remember on Instagram when they like it, that I've got the new spinny, pink, fancy, whatever it is.
Yeah, so it's for the parents' mental well-being rather than the kids. I mean, it could be tough, but I mean, you just got to just shunt the societal norms and carry on. And when you're in business, I think, that's where you've got to manage the distractions and the noise.
This is actually one of the biggest reasons I chose to work for myself as a contractor, to have the flexibility to show up for my kids' key school moments like prize givings, assemblies and performances. Councillor Luke just going to ask a question. Is this because your parents weren't there for you at those moments? I'm always fascinated by why is that important to somebody? It's obviously very normal to want to be at your key school moments, but sometimes when I ask people why is that important to you? Because someone else it might not be.
Yeah, look, I would probably say yes, because this is potentially generational between business owners today and perhaps in the boomers generation. I reckon there would be less business owners in an older generation, because it was just you go and get your 9-to-5 job at the corporate and it's a job for life. You work there 20, 30 years, you get your gold watch and you're gone. And I remember as a kid, parents very rarely had anything to do with school, because it was just they're at work. That's just what they did. Bike home, that's the thing. Home, dinner's on the table, da-da-da-da-da. Whereas these days, I don't know whether it's because just of what we do in terms of the work that we do, but just the amount of businesses that are out there that people are now, once was a job, have now turned into a business that creates the flexibility, that lets them go and do that stuff that their parents didn't do. So potentially, I think you've got a point there.
Yeah, I wonder. I think the older generation were having more kids as well, so they're probably I don't want to be at home, man. I want 3 to 4, 5 kids.
Yeah, there wasn't Netflix in those days, eh? So they had to find something else. Yeah.
These are the kind of memories you can't buy back with money or career wins. That's clearly why it's important. So I wasn't mugging this person off. I love digging into why people find things important. Not always easy, but definitely always worth it. Good stuff. In healthcare, it's one-sided. Kids get no time. Stay late at the hospital, and the saying is that the only one that remembers that you stayed late is your kids. Oh, that's brutal. Even when you finish work, you're doing projects, audit, or typing up clinic letters. In my journey, working for myself has the same imbalance in a different way. My focus and priorities can be done at different times, after 9 p.m, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m, etc. Valuable comments. Thanks. The next one, straight to the point. Yeah, it's fucking hard juggling kids and running a business. For me, it's not really the day-to-day juggling that's the hardest. It's the emotional side. You want to do the right by the business, but you don't want the kids thinking you care more about work than you do about them. And they don't always see it if you see it the way you mean it. You're always working, even if you're not on the tools or the computer. There's always a phone call, or it's just in your head. And when something goes wrong, the kids feel it. They see you're off, then they act up more, which makes it bloody hard not to snap at them. The good bit is the flexibility, being able to shoot out in the middle of the day for a school thing or a football tournament, etc. Those little moments make it worth it. And you've got to remind yourself of them when you're working late at night. You've got to remind yourself of those nights. But from their side, all they see is dad's always on the computer, so I try to be there for bedtime. Then if I've still got work to do, I'll get back on after they're asleep. Kids, 9...
Ages 9 to 11, FYI.
Gotcha. Yeah. I thought I was thinking of September the 11th. I've got it on the brain because it's September 11 in America today at the time of recording. But,
yeah, I had to go through. I thought 9 to 11. I thought, is that the boundary of time? You see your kids between 9 and 11, but the kids are aged between 9 and 11. Yeah.
We'll go to the next one, mate, to keep us moving. Much like parenthood itself, no one can prepare you for the resilience building that occurs. I think the key is having serious boundaries about work times and house times. We have to say house because farming is stepping out the door and you're looking at the work between the eyes.
Wow.
My husband and I both have our own businesses, so it's a lot of tag teaming. We have a 4-year-old and 6-month-old baby, so we know that in this stage right now, we just need to be the best that we can for what we've got, and we know that things will get easier. We haven't met the challenge of school holidays yet, as the 4-year-old is in daycare. We have an au pair in the past, and she is coming back for another stint with us to help out by helping with the baby, prepping meals, etc., so that when we are home, we get quality time with the kids. How cool, like business owners, both cranking and, au pair, they're finding solutions this whole way through. It's just a fact of life right now that I have to do quite a few hours of work once they're asleep to keep on top of things, and thankfully our staff are really awesome too. It makes you really efficient and only give your time to things you value. Trying to use AI and systems to automate or reduce my workload as much as possible.
Nice.
Finally, flexibility was the biggest driver in working for myself. The ability to present for school events, be able to provide transport to extracurricular activities and be there in the afternoon, even if that means working later in the evening, outweigh the stresses of business, although there's definitely times questioning it if it's still worth it. I think having a village is important. Trying to do and be everything to everyone eventually wears you down. Outsource things if you can, and if you have a partner, ensure they are contributing equally.
Oh, contributing equally.
Shit, I should have
We
read
might
that
have
last bit out.
might have to scrub that one, mate.
Yeah, that's
Just
controversial.
a note for the editor there.
Yeah. A question I often ask myself, mate, is like, what does the world need from me right now? So what I mean by that is like a really good, deep question to stop you and go, is what I'm working on right now, like, is that actually what the world needs you to be doing? And hopefully that might just help the odd person where you can then go, yeah, you know what, this thing over here isn't actually that important, but this is. And if you constantly can bring that question into your realm or questions that you ask yourself, you might find that your answers change, or it might help you make a decision faster. And I dare say that raising a child, especially in those early periods, like the world probably really needs you to like focus on that, right? Because from what I've read and learnt, in those early years, like that's when you've really got to be mindful of shaping them and nurturing and whatnot, right? Because a lot of things
Wasn't around in those days, mate.
Shit.
I was working.
Things can go wrong in that period, and it's very hard to unwind from what I see.
What you're saying there about, how did you frame it? About what does the world need from me now?
Yeah.
That's a really good question, because my mind immediately went to a conversation that we've had with a client recently where they went to work and all that they felt in a day that they achieved was just shuffling emails around, and it's just unproductive. And it's like there's broader issues to unpack there, but the cost of being unproductive and not adding value in the context of that question is you're missing out on making the most of being a business owner and the flexibility of, rather than shuffling emails, I could be spending time with my kids.
Yeah.
Because shuffling emails around certainly isn't productive, and it's certainly not what the world needs from anybody.
No. And I think what people are saying in a lot of their comments is that they've had to become more effective with their time and probably cut out some of the noise because they need to be focusing on the priorities that they've got in front of them.
Well, I hope this highlights or helps the people that are listening or tuning in that there is no right or wrong answer when you're a parent and you're in business, and that it is we're doing it for the flexibility. That's ultimately what it is, and building your own boundaries.
Yeah, and some amazing advice, and one day I'll be able to leave my own comment, hopefully, and take all the abuse from everyone. They're like, yeah, now you get to find out what it's like, dickhead. How are you going to juggle all these fucking projects that you're trying to work on now? But shout out to all the business owners out there who are, building something from scratch, or you're hiring people. They're just so amazing. I just love business owners, how they take risk, they employ other people, they pay contractors, they pay 2 sets of bills, they do all the same things, trying to have holidays, raise kids, do a good job of that, then think about, okay, what do we do with this money if you're doing well? Do we invest it into the kids' education, for instance, or do we not? And, it just opens up a completely new world that a lot of people never have to navigate, and life is a lot simpler for a lot of people. But I think part of why we choose business is because we're actually up for the challenge and we want to develop ourselves and go through
because the reward on the other side is significantly better than any downside risk.